This is a bookable summary of the book, Crucial Accountability by Kerry Patterson, Joseph Grenny, Ron McMillan, Al Switzler, and David Maxfield. You're not alone in dealing with colleagues who miss deadlines or a partner who ignores simple requests. A lot of people all over the world struggle with accountability issues. Instead of remaining silent, you can speak up and hold the person accountable. But many people are unsure how to do this or are afraid of making the situation worse. Fortunately, these provide tools to help address their accountability issues without causing harm to relationships. 1. Choose the issue you care most about and consider whether it should be addressed. Like many things, accountability issues are rarely simple. Before holding an accountability decision, it's important to identify the various problems and decide which is most important to you. To do this, think CPR, content, pattern, and relationship. Here's an example. The first time a teenager comes home late, the content of breaking curfew is a problem. If she promises to stick to the rules but doesn't, there's an additional issue, a pattern of rule breaking. But days later, she breaks curfew again. At this point, her father can't trust her, which means the negative effect on their relationship is yet another problem. In addition to considering the content, pattern, and relationship, we need to think of consequences and intentions. After listing all the associated problems and pinpointing what matters most, you're ready to schedule a chat, right? Well, not quite. You need to decide if the issue warrants a conversation. There are many clues that your accountability issues should be addressed. If you feel hostile towards the other person, you should definitely bring the issue up. This too is an indication that you should speak up, and the following will explain exactly how. 2. Create the right climate for an accountability discussion by avoiding assumptions. Imagine that a man wants to discuss a promise that his girlfriend has broken. If the man is angry and hostile in his approach, it can trigger a similar response from his girlfriend, which will lead to a shouting match. The conversation will fail due to a lack of suitable climate for discussing accountability. This is a perfect example of what happens when people don't establish a suitable climate for discussing accountability. The key to setting the right climate for accountability discussions is the story we tell ourselves beforehand. And, unfortunately, we're inclined to tell unflattering stories about other people, which psychologists call fundamental attribution error. This is the tendency to assume that others do bad things because they're flawed. Well, we also assume negative stories about people when they don't fulfill a commitment. These stories fuel our thoughts and feelings, which leads to a tense, unproductive climate for conversations. So, to ensure that accountability conversations start well, we should steer clear of negative stories. This means resisting the urge to conclude that people are simply awful. It also means making a point to acknowledge that other personal, social, or structural factors may have influenced their behavior. 3. Make others feel safe by showing respect and establishing a shared purpose. When discussing accountability, it is important to create a safe climate for the conversation. This includes showing respect and understanding for the other person's goals and interests. To do this, view the other person as a reasonable and decent person. Ask for permission to discuss the issue. And use the contrasting tactic to anticipate any wrong conclusion and clarify your intentions. Establish a shared purpose and let the other person know that the goal of the discussion is to improve things for both parties. Once you've established mutual goals and respect, you can describe the infraction. When describing the infraction, it's important to lead with facts and use tentative language to signal that you are open to hearing the other person's side. Finally, end the conversation with a question to create a dialogue that helps solve the problem together. If you're learning something new in this video, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos. 4. Motivate a change in behavior. Explain the natural consequences. When considering what to do, people look at the possible outcomes, good and bad. Then, they choose the action they believe will yield the best result. What does this have to do with accountability? Well, when discussing an accountability issue, pointing out consequences can motivate people to do better in the future. All actions and behaviors have their natural consequences. During accountability discussions, it's important to highlight the natural consequences of someone's actions. This includes long-term benefits, outcomes that align with their values, and potential future problems. You can also describe how others are affected by their actions. But if discussing the consequences doesn't lead to a change, create a workaround and explain it clearly. Sharing your coping strategy makes the other person aware of the cause and effect of their behavior. This can motivate change. For example, if an employee keeps missing deadlines, the manager may take him off key projects. The employee now has the chance to change his behavior and start delivering their work on time or be held accountable for his actions. 5. Help someone be more accountable by working together to remove barriers. When dealing with accountability issues, it is important to understand the root cause of the problem. In some cases, the person may be motivated to meet expectations but is facing barriers that are preventing them from doing so. In such cases, removing these barriers and empowering the person to meet future expectations is key. This can be achieved by involving others in finding solutions and hearing their ideas. Keeping the tone upbeat and the climate safe encourages the person to talk openly about the task and any obstacles they may be facing. By asking questions, you can explore the potential barriers together and agree on solutions to remove them. The goal is to ensure that any obstacles affecting the person's ability are removed and to empower them to meet future expectations. 6. Stay flexible enough to handle unexpected challenges. We know that climate is important for productive discussion, but how should we handle unexpected climate change? We can handle it by being flexible and re-establishing a safe climate by shifting focus to more critical issues. So, how do you handle more critical issues that need to be dealt with immediately? You can handle it by explaining that you're changing the topic, and you'll return to the original issue later. After announcing the change, handle the new problem in the same way that you were going to address the original one. Establish safety, explain the natural consequences, and explore potential barriers and solutions. Now, if intense emotions crop up, they can be handled by uncovering what is causing them, asking what the person is feeling, and repeating what they have said to show that you are listening. This will help you both deal with them effectively so that the conversation can continue. If someone is struggling to talk, take a sensitive guess at what they're thinking and reassure them that it's okay to talk about it. By addressing the root of the emotional outburst, it becomes easier to handle. 7. End accountability discussions by agreeing on a detailed plan of action. We need to create an effective plan to end accountability conversations and avoid accountability issues reoccurring. Here's how to create an effective plan. Focus on who, what, and when. This means identifying who will do what task by when. But each task and responsibility must be clearly defined with measurable expectations. Similarly, the when of the plan needs to be as specific as possible. Any questions about deadlines or task details should be raised and addressed during the conversation to avoid confusion. When everything is clear, we can move on to the next part of the plan, which is deciding how and when to follow up. When choosing a follow-up method, we need to consider the importance of the task along with the skills and trustworthiness of the responsible parties. In both cases, the follow-up method and clear reason behind it should be agreed upon by everyone. Finally, once all the details of the plan have been hashed out, all the people involved need to commit to it. Otherwise, they can't be held accountable for it. If problems come up again, it's time for a new accountability discussion. We hope this video provided valuable insight and information for you. If you're ever in a situation where you need to hold someone accountable for their actions, would you avoid such conversations or have an accountability conversation with them? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you learned something new in this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Thank you. Until next time.